In this tutorial, you'll learn how to create a health and attack attribute and how to handle incoming damage and dealing damage to other units. This tutorial is intended for all skill levels, even if you are a complete beginner to programming in Unity. Note that we will not go into any attack animation in this video. For this tutorial, I've prepared a project with enemy and player characters already equipped with some animations and a third-person controller. You can download this project for free if you want to follow along, or to just download the final version. Link to my GitHub page is in the description. In every character, we should have one component that contains its attributes. Attributes, or stats, are values that define how strong the character is, like their amount of health and attack damage. To make this, let's create a new script in the project window by right-clicking the Scripts folder, choose Create, and click on C# script. Let's call this new script Attributes Manager. Hit Enter and double-click it to open it in Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, let's first delete everything inside this class because we don't need them right now. Let's create two new variables to store its health and attack. As a reminder, the keyword public means that this variable can be accessed from outside the script. The opposite keyword will be private and protected, which will not allow other scripts to change or get the value of this variable. The int stands for integer, which means that we're using an integer variable, so it can only contain whole numbers or non-decimal fraction values. If you want to use decimals as your health and attack value, use the float keyword. And that's it. Save the script and return to Unity. Now, we can click and drag this script into our player. Let's fill the health field to 100 and its attack field to 10. Do that again for the enemy. But this time, let's set the attack to 5. Next, we want to create a function that can reduce health if the character takes damage. To do this, let's open the Attributes Manager script again in Visual Studio, and this time, let's create a new function called takeDamage to reduce this character's health by the amount of damage. As a reminder, we're using the same public keyword, which means that this function can be called by other scripts. The void keyword means that this function doesn't have a value output. We'll get to it in a later tutorial. Here, we add a parameter amount to this function to tell us how much damage was taken. Then, we reduce our health by that amount of damage. Next, let's create another function called dealDamage to attack other characters in the game. This time, we want the parameter to contain our target's game object. So, to deal damage, we want to try to get the target's Attributes Manager component, if it exists. Then, we call the takeDamage function with this character's attack value as the parameter. The other character will use their takeDamage function to reduce their health by the attack amount. And that's it. Save the script and return to Unity. Now, to test our Attribute Manager script, we need to create another script to have the player and the enemy attack each other. Let's call this new script Damage Tester, and double-click it to open it in Visual Studio. This time, let's erase everything inside the class except for the default update function. You may notice that this update function doesn't specify whether it's using the private or public keyword. By default, if a function doesn't specify its access modifier, they will automatically use a private keyword. But for the sake of consistency, let's just type in the private keyword. In this script, let's create two references to the player and the enemy's Attributes Manager. Then, in the update function, when we press F11 key, we want the player to deal damage to the enemy. and the other way around when we press F12. Save the script and return to Unity. Let's create an empty game object by right-clicking on the hierarchy window and choose Create Empty. Let's name it Damage Tester. Because I'm a perfectionist, on the transform component, click on the 3-dot symbol and choose Reset. This resets the position of the object to 0, 0, 0 in all X, Y, and Z coordinates. Drag the new damage tester script into this empty game object. Let's drag in our Vita player and enemy game object from the hierarchy window to their respective field in Inspector. When we go into the play mode, every time we press F12, we can see that our player health is reduced by the enemy's attack. And the other way also works when pressing F11. You can even change the attack value while the game is playing to deal a different amount of damage. From here, you can create any number of attributes you want. Perhaps you want armor attribute to reduce incoming damage, or maybe a slightly more advanced critical damage and critical chance variables and calculate it using RNG. Don't let anything stop you. And that's pretty much it for this first part of the combat tutorial. If this video helps you, then don't forget to like the video. This is part 1 of the series of making a full 3D melee combat game, so consider subscribing and ring the bell so you'll be notified when a new tutorial comes up. And with that, I think I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.